Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Armando?
Yes.
Commissioner Giorgiani?
Yes.
Commissioner Walde?
Yes.
Chairman Caldwell?
Yes. We have a quorum. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Public notice?
Notice of the meeting is given in the following manner. Notice of the meeting was transmitted and published in the Home News Tribune. Notice of the meeting and a copy of the agenda were filed with the clerk of the City of New Brunswick on January 22nd, 2018, and said notice of meeting and a copy of the agenda were promptly posted on the announcement board in the lobby of City Hall at least 48 hours prior to beginning of this meeting.
Great, thank you very much. As you can see, a member of our family is not here tonight. John, would you like to say something?
Sure, those of you may not know, our Director of Operations passed away during the holidays. He was an employee for 10 years. He worked very diligently every day. I know he interacted with a number of our residents in many areas, particularly Section 8. I want to thank everyone for their well wishes to the staff who are working forward from this time. And with that, I would ask that we give a moment of silence in his remembrance. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you very much. He will be missed. You can see many of us are sniffing up here because I hope none of you in the audience have this flu that's going around. It's not very nice. So I'd like to officially welcome everybody to tonight's meeting of the Board of Commissioners of the New Brunswick Housing Authority. I want to note that it's a public meeting held in compliance with the requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-6. 2-21. The public has a right to attend this meeting, to observe the proceedings, and to give public comment at the designated time listed in this evening's board agenda. Before we begin, I'd like to make a few comments. At our last meeting, there were several times where order was lost, and the meeting became chaotic. This presents a number of issues not only for members of the board, but most importantly, for the public. When meetings are not conducted in an orderly fashion, it is difficult for both the board members and the public to absorb the content of the public's comment. Maintaining an adequate record in an orderly fashion it's difficult for both the board members and the public to absorb the content of the public's comment. Maintaining an adequate record via the minutes is of paramount importance and is required by statute. That cannot be accomplished if we do not maintain decorum. At every meeting, the board has several significant responsibilities, including the approval of monthly budgets and operations. Each one of us serving on this board is a volunteer and state public office holder who is appointed to serve on this board. We're members of the community. We serve voluntarily and, again, without compensation. We serve in the interest of providing affordable housing. The public plays a very, very important role in these meetings, which is why the law provides for public comment. The function of the public comment portion of the meeting is to allow board members to hear the concerns of the public. That cannot be accomplished if public comment devolves into chaos. In order to properly serve our residents, the public, and HUD, Housing and Urban Development, we have to conduct these meetings in an orderly fashion and treat each other with civility. That requires each one of us to uphold some basic rules of parliamentary procedure, which govern all of our meetings. With that being said, I'd like to reiterate some of those rules. The board wishes to complete all its business and then move to the public comment portion. This offers the public the opportunity to hear all of their business before the comment portion. Public comment is limited to 5 minutes per speaker to allow every speaker the opportunity to be heard. We believe that this limit is reasonable and will provide sufficient time for speakers to make their point and to address any issues they choose. If a speaker becomes disorderly, I will gently rap the desk and ask that they come to order. The First Amendment ensures freedom of speech. Our goal is to provide a space for uninhibited and robust discussion of public issues in public forums, such as this meeting. Heightened protections are given to the exercise of free speech, and our goal is to make sure those rights are protected for every member of the public who attends our meeting and seeks to comment. However, the right to free speech is not absolute, and a government entity like this board may impose reasonable time, place, and manner restrictions. The board applies the rules to all speakers equally, whether we agree with the content of their message or not. A public body has the authority to control its proceedings to safeguard the rules of decorum so that the meeting may be conducted in an orderly fashion. The First Amendment does not require that the chairperson of a board stand by while a meeting is disrupted, out of control, or when a speaker attempts to hijack the proceedings. With all this in mind, this meeting will be conducted in a civil and orderly fashion. We look forward to hearing from any member of the public who wishes to speak on the issues before the board this evening in an orderly fashion. 2, a reminder that it is public comment, and all public comment will come from that podium, so that we don't have folks talking out of order, and we, again, have some decorum. With that, I'd like to go to item 4, in consideration of the meeting minutes.
Need a motion and second, Chair?
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Evans? Commissioner Giorgiani?
Yes.
Commissioner Walde?
Yes.
Chair.
Yes. Okay, resolutions.
Resolution 2018-1 is a resolution ratifying, authorizing, and approving the payment of bills for the months of October and November 2017.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Evans?
Yes.
Commissioner Giorgiani?
Yes.
Commissioner Walde?
Yes.
And Chair.
Yes.
Resolution 2018, number 2, is a resolution authorizing and approving the payment of bills for the month of December 2017.
Is there a motion?
Make a motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Evans?
Yes.
Commissioner Giorgiani?
Yes.
Chair, Commissioner Walde?
Yes.
Chair.
Yes.
Resolution number 3 is a resolution approving and adopting revised allowance for tenant furnished utilities and other services for the New Brunswick Housing Authority Section 8 Housing Choice Voucher Program.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Roll call, please. Discussion?
Yeah.
Sure, as you know, annually, we do a utility allowance study. That study is basically then put into a schedule that we can apply for use in utility allowances within our Section 8 Housing Choice Voucher Program. This is actually the result of that study that's done, and we're presenting it to the board for action tonight.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Ovando?
Yes.
Commissioner Giorgiani?
Yes.
Commissioner Walde?
Yes.
And Chair.
Yes.
Resolution number 4 is a resolution to amend the New Brunswick Housing Authority's administrative plan.
Is there a motion?
Make a motion.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please. You want to discussion?
Sure. As was detailed in the resolution, we have looked at the administrative plan. We're also actually looking at the ACOP right now as well. The plan itself, because of the VAWA law, Violence Against Women, as well as some other revisions that came late last year, is in need of revision. This is again for the Section 8 administrative plan for use in the Section 8 Housing Choice Voucher Program. We will be looking through the ACOP, which is the Admissions and Continued Occupancy Plan, and making recommendations at a later meeting.
Thank you. Roll call.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Ovando?
Yes.
Commissioner Giorgiani?
Yes.
Commissioner Walde?
Yes.
Chair?
Yes.
Okay. Resolution number 5 is a resolution appointing John Clark as 504 Compliance Officer for the New Brunswick Housing and Redevelopment Authority.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
Okay.
The Housing Authority is required to have a 504 officer. This was a position previously occupied by Mr. Rotobron. It takes an action from the board in order to do that, and then we register ourselves with the state.
Okay. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Ovando?
Yes.
Commissioner Giorgiani?
Yes.
Commissioner Walde?
Yes.
Chair?
Yes.
And resolution number 6 is resolution appointing John Clark as custodian of record for the New Brunswick Housing and Redevelopment Authority.
Is there a motion?
Make a motion. Second.
Second?
I'm sorry, who seconded? Walde? Again, this was a position previously occupied by Mr. Rotobron. It's a requirement that the board appoint an action item. And pretty much I'm the only person that can do it, has taken the courses and have you. So I'm asking
Choice.
you.
Roll call.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Ovando?
Yes.
Commissioner Giorgiani?
Yes.
Commissioner Walde?
Yes.
And Chair.
Yes.
Okay.
Good. Old
Those are all the
business?
action items.
Any old business? So we'll move to item number 7, public comment. As I mentioned before, we'd love to hear from the public. We ask you to come to the podium and state your name and address. And again, we have 5 minutes. Our attorney will keep a record of that.
Got a clock? My name is Gretchen Spencer. I live at 2 Jennings Court in Brunswick, New Jersey, 08901. I want to talk about one, I got a list. 1 Bergen Court. And I still want to know where the money is, okay? 1 Bergen Court. Who is living in 1 Bergen Court that got a business and is not supposed to be there? This man done told me, he been fixing this apartment up since August. And people been telling me, this man owns Onyx and got a catering business. Alan McGrish. So how is he living out here? I mean, how is he renting an apartment out here when you got people that need an apartment? And he got a catering business, got tables, I got pictures of the tables. All outside, catering tables. This is what I've been talking about this since last year, John. And people are bringing it to my attention too much. Then you got a man over there that's working and putting in new floors, putting in new cabinets. I'm like, excuse my French, but what kind of shit is this? We can't even put a new floor down and get hollered at. That's what I'm trying to find out. I've been talking about this since last year, John. And all of a sudden, this man got a thing up at the window in the bathroom since I last talked to you. So something is going on. We're not supposed to have businesses out here. And I'm getting calls from people from Edit saying, why is so-and-so living out here and they own a business? There's a lot of people that own businesses that live out here. And it's not supposed to be that way. We were told that from day one. And if nobody's supposed to be out here with a business. So I want to know what's going on with that one. 2, maintenance. 2.5 or 3.5 people working for this. You're working what little people are left. These people are tired. We had 8 people, 4 for each side. Where is the people that need to be out here working? Then I got rid of most of maintenance. Now we don't have hardly anybody. 1 person that's experienced at what he does, and they working him to death. All day and all night, Monday through Sunday. And then Glenn looked like death done warmed over half the time. He tired. He don't say that, he just keeps walking. Luciana gonna look, if he turns sideways, he gonna disappear. He done got so thin. We need people out here that want to help and that know what they're doing out here to work and fix the people's pipes are busted. 1 building almost caught a fire with the water. The pipe done busted. Water almost hit the electrical boxes underneath. These buildings need to be tore down because pipes are busted left and right out here. But sinks and toilets and stuff is backing up. And they calling me. I said, y'all got to call maintenance. Call them first and then call me. Because they're not getting no help. Friday, the weekend come, they leave a message and I stand right there and listen to them. Don't nobody come until they send them later or whenever. They don't come until Monday sometime. Start this, all this got to, they need help out here. Because 3 people ain't going to get it. That I know. And the businesses, Robeson Village on that side. Air ducts. I am so tired of this dust is choking this shit out of me. And everybody, there are people that are sick as hell on Robeson's side because these air ducts need to be cleaned out. They are a hot mess. Then, we need cops or security out here. I'm tired. People got people hanging out here. There's no meetings to tell these people what's going on. There's no meetings with housing. We need to have a meeting with tenants and housing. Because I'm tired of hearing, they know what's in the lease. I go read the lease. I don't say a damn thing in the lease about nothing we done touched on. I got my lease laying by my phone. We need to have a structured meeting with the tenants out here that understand every damn thing. Because the people that are being put out here is not supposed to be out here. Okay? And it's getting ridiculous. So that's the main thing I want to know is, who is that in 1 Bergen?
You said it was Alan McGriff, correct?
And his name is, the man that was in there working said his name. Right? Say, I'm working for the boss, Alan McGriff. I said, John Clark is the boss out here. Who you talking about? He been working in that apartment since August or September. How is he leasing an apartment? He got a house. Okay? I didn't know all this until I had a few people come in my ear that go down and get their hair done. And if this man working in there didn't tell me what was going on, he said, I'm just working here. Would you working 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, you're keeping people up with the noise. I can hear the noise halfway walking down the street. People that ain't supposed to be out here is being out here, and a lot of them have businesses. And y'all need to go through everybody and check to see what's going on. Because you got people sleeping on top of people, sleeping on top of people, sleeping on top of people. And it is a shame. 2 bedrooms. The people that need 2 bedrooms, that need 3 bedrooms, can't get it because you keep bringing in people, which you're supposed to move in-house first with the people that need a 3 bedroom, then you bring people in. But if these people can't get, you got a family that got a boy and a girl. The boy this big and the girl this big, but he needs his own room.
Well, thank you.
So-
That's more than 5 minutes. So we'll take it under advisement. Just thank you for your comments.
Yes, because I need all my answers. We need security out there because it's getting warm out.
Is there anyone else who'd like to speak?
Anybody else want to speak? Come on.
Please come to the podium, state your name and location.
That might not be good.
Takesha Lilly, 105, right, please?
I'm sorry, what was the name?
Takesha Lilly. Mr. Clark, you know.
I'm sorry, I don't have my glasses on.
I wasn't here to the last meeting because I was sick, but I got to see the video. What I will say is, out here, we do need security. You have people that shouldn't be out here that's out here. A lot of the violence that's happening out here is happening by people who don't even live out here.
All the violence happening.
Like, they don't even live here, but we have to deal with the outcome of it.
You want to talk shit.
And then we want to know why the videos isn't working. We can't even sit up there. Somebody damaged my sister-in-law's car. We can't even prove who did it because the video cameras are not working. Why is the video cameras up
They're
and they're not
supposed to be,
working?
they got to call the cops first.
Well, they work.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
They definitely work.
That's one. Two, when it comes to the rent and everything, I feel like this. Everybody in this complex supposedly be living on a fixed income. If you see that we owe you over $500, once we get to $500, you should be letting us know, hey, you may be paying your flat rate rent, but you still owe this and you still owe this. Y'all wait till, they literally wait until we're like knee deep in the goddamn hole before they open their mouth and say, well, you owe this much, but hold up. All this months I've been paying rent, and you not once told me. Every time I come in this office to ask what's going on or get something fixed, you didn't tell me that I'm getting charged. Mind you, I've been in my apartment, my son is 9 years old. I've been in that apartment for 8 years. It's a lot of wear and tear. Why am I getting charged for wear and tear? After 5 years, it's wear and tear. I've been in that apartment for 8 years. There's no reason why anybody should be getting charged for things that should be fixed automatically. If it's not being fixed, and then the thing is that they're not fixing the treatment, they're half-ass fixing it. Then they have to come back. I'm the one who posted the video up of my ceiling in my back room with a big old hole in it, that it wasn't until I got in contact and spoke to that man myself that it got fixed properly. But mind you, they've been fixing on that one spot in my back room for 8 years. And finally, it caved in. And then it took them, mind you, me and my kids, my son who's asthmatic, severely asthmatic, lived in that house with that hole opened up let's see, it happened in the beginning of July. It did not get fixed until right before December. That's uncalled for. But y'all want y'all rent money right then and there. Y'all want us to pay for y'all coming to fix stuff, but y'all not fixing stuff. And if you are fixing, you're half-assed. They need better maintenance men. There's only one maintenance man that I know right now that literally is stressed because he's going here, there, to fix everything and everybody else is not, they're not up to par. If they're not up to par, then this shouldn't be your job. If your job is to come in and fix things, then come and fix it the right way. Don't half-ass it. And then don't sit up there and then I don't even know what's going on with the little tickets that we're supposed to be getting on our cars. But I feel like this. One, while y'all sitting up here bugging people about cars that's been sitting there for like maybe a day or two because they don't have a housing sticker saying that they live there, you have people that live in one house that have like 5 or 6 cars, and out of them 5 or 6 cars, only 2 of them is working. So now they're taking up places and now we can't park. Why do I have to park all the way down the street and I have parking spots right there? I shouldn't have to get a handicap sticker just to be able to park in front of my house or by my house. That's really all I have to
All right,
say.
thank you very much. We'll take that under advisement.
Thank you.
Any other comments?
Next.
My job, I've been in court. I've been contacting housing, primarily calling Stephen at least once a week, speaking to him in regards to my doors and my windows. The doors, there's literally, my door's here, the top of my door, the crack to the door is, you know, how it's supposed to be. As you start going down to the bottom of the door, it's a big open space where nothing but cold air is coming in. All through my windows, all of the windows, my daughter's bed is right, you know, in her room, nothing but cold air is coming in where you lock the window, nothing but cold air is coming in. I come downstairs every morning, every day, even now, I just came from home, my downstairs is still cold. If I turn the heat up, upstairs is blazing hot and downstairs is lukewarm. I have air coming out from underneath my door. I've had Michael Ford come look at it. I've had the other guy that's I believe his name is Luciano. He's been there. I've been told that the windows have to be replaced. All the windows in the house have to be replaced. The doors also have to be replaced. I was told also that it may not be replaced because the building is actually leaning, which is causing my door to shift as well as my windows. I want to know how much longer is it going to take for me and my daughter to be at least comfortable downstairs and not have to wear 1 and 2 blankets downstairs when if I turn the heat up on 75, my upstairs is blazing hot. Where to the point where I'm already getting thirsty just being upstairs. So, you know, for me to turn up my heat for 75, upstairs is hot. It's not comfortable being upstairs if it's really hot. You know, so to come downstairs and then as soon as you walk down my steps, you get to the middle of the steps, you can feel the difference between the hot and cold from upstairs and downstairs. So I've been asking, it's been since October, and still nothing yet.
Our recommendation is tomorrow morning, can you see Mr. Clark? So, thank you.
I'm sorry, real quick, Chair. So you had other maintenance items at the last meeting, which we have work orders that were completed in your unit.
Yes.
So they were there in your unit and they did all those other items, but these are,
These are, the windows and the doors are still,
but all the other items?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you. But you can still see me tomorrow when I.
Okay, around what time?
The earlier the better.
Okay,
I don't know if I'm
so
gonna make it through the day. 8 o'clock's fine.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
I got a question, but I can't see what was walking and standing. I have a question for you.
It goes that way. I'm sorry, you gotta go through the chair.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's okay, I can answer
I'm
that.
not sure.
You can answer.
Oh, John Clark, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Do you come out and check anything?
So Chair, yeah, we do. So, I'm sorry, you gotta go through the chair, but
Oh,
that's
Chair,
why I'm
does he
answering,
come out?
that's why I'm answering to him, because it's part of the meeting.
Oh, I have to ask him.
Yes.
And I'll ask him.
I know it's silly, but that's just.
We'll ask
that's the
him,
way-
and
Yes,
then
we,
let him ask, ask
but
him.
I can answer, you don't have to do it again.
Yeah, okay.
So, yes, we do, I do go to units, yes, I do, and I think you can ask other residents like Gretchen and everyone else in CBO. But it's important that we know the individual units, because a lot of times, we can't get in every single unit every single day. So that's why I asked the young lady who was just here about the items that were fixed and repaired in unit, which I'm very happy to hear that they were done. But more importantly, the items that weren't, still need to be addressed and still need to be handled. But to answer your question, yes, I do.
Okay.
I think you can ask other residents. I don't know if I've ever been to your unit.
No,
I'd
you're
be
about to
happy
come
to
here,
come by
because I have
tomorrow
another
to your unit if you'd like.
I have another question.
Are you inviting me to your unit tomorrow?
Yes, you need to be there every day. Because I have a problem. It's not like everybody else's problem, but to me it's a serious problem.
I understand.
Them damn squirrels.
What, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
them squirrels in there. I can't take that too much longer.
Yeah.
Because I'm about to call the fire department.
It's not what unit, what building? Building
Fort
3.
Gatling Courts.
Everybody have squirrels in it.
Oh my God,
And this started when?
Last year?
Yeah. He told me that he would have to smoke them out. Smoke
Cause
something.
I don't have them in mind no more.
Well, when I called the office, the guy was saying, well, you know, what's the guy with the white truck?
Yeah, yeah.
Danny,
Yeah, he said, well, we have to smoke them out. When are you going to smoke them out?
What does that mean?
I don't know, get them out.
Probably like the bombs that you do for like the bed bugs and the roaches, that kind
no,
of
they
stuff.
what they did with mine, they sealed up the side of the roof. They
Yes,
come in
it's
through the
bad.
corners of the roof,
It's
and
bad.
they had to, they had to put foam up, because I had a party going on in my room.
Gretchen,
So they had to do that.
So, please have courtesy.
I'm sorry.
So I'll stop by there tomorrow. I'll stop by there tomorrow.
Okay, so tomorrow, he'll stop by tomorrow.
And you can show
I'm
me.
not there, but
Are you
Any other
there?
comments?
Okay.
Could you please?
Yes, but the squirrels are there late at night.
Please state
Why
your
is
name
the
and
secret in there?
location.
Oh, Giselle
Yeah,
Williams,
yeah,
8
yeah.
Gatling Court.
Your cane on the floor.
Oh, I'll get it later. It's gonna be full.
Are you gonna be there tomorrow?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know yet. I don't know yet.
Okay.
I just want to know, why am I being charged for a pipe that busts behind the wall? You want
When
it?
was that?
8 Gatling Court.
Have you brought that to management yet or no? You can bring it
No.
to me.
Bring-
So you're asking now? You
Yes.
haven't brought it to management? Okay.
All right.
Thanks.
So
I'll take a
he'll
look.
address that.
Okay.
I'll take a look at this and,
Burst behind the wall and all downstairs was wet. The cabinets was wet.
I'll take a look at this tomorrow. I
Say
can have that.
But that's exactly what I was saying.
Yeah.
So the important thing to know is, the board wants your,
Remember the time you
please listen up. The board wants to solve these problems. We don't solve the problems. The key is, if Mr. Clark has not heard them, there's no sense telling us, because we're gonna tell, we're not operational. We're policy. So I'm encouraging you, if you've told 100 other people in the housing authority, but you haven't told Mr. Clark, stop by tomorrow and tell Mr. Clark, and he's responsible for making sure that.
I'm sorry, Chair. So you didn't call and ask about this?
No,
Okay.
because I was waiting for
I have
the,
this written down. Thank you. You can have this and I'll give you a call
Thank you.
tomorrow, but I'll find out. And you're saying that it was broke behind the wall?
it burst behind the wall. The date was like 2 degrees or whatever.
Oh,
Yeah.
that went down? The
Yes,
one
at the same time,
Yeah,
the whole building was.
I remember. Thank you.
Any other comments?
I'm sorry, just ma'am?
Thank you.
You said you will not be here tomorrow, or will you be around tomorrow?
I'll be here, I'll be
Okay,
there.
thank
Yes,
you.
I'll be there.
Any other public comments?
Sorry.
Please come on up, state your name and location. How you doing?
Good evening. Lawrence Dargan, 33 Jennings Court. I was wondering what happened with the Tenants Association. Like it was said it was going to be addressed. I talked to Mr. Clark, he said we were supposed to get letters around December, right around Christmas, and still nothing was said, so I was wondering what was going on with that.
John?
Chair, first, did the items get repaired in your unit that you
Oh
requested?
yeah, the windows got
That's good to
repaired.
know.
The hole's still in the ceiling, but
You say the hole's still in the ceiling?
I appreciate my windows getting done because it got cold quick.
But
So,
you're saying there's still a hole in the ceiling?
yeah, it still have holes in both ceilings, the living room, the kitchen and the bathroom.
And bathroom. Okay. Chair, Bill Elias, who's the management consultant, actually has drafted, this was the gentleman, I don't know if you remember,
Right, I
someone
remember
said
the
something
last
about
time, yes.
$100 for some kind of money that had to be paid for some resident council information or whatever. So Bill Elias, our management consultant, has looked into that, and he will be hosting actually a resident training meeting. Those letters, because it is a formal meeting, those have to be drafted in a certain ways, and those will go out shortly. He's gonna hold 2 meetings, one's gonna be in the day and one's gonna be in the afternoon. I encourage all residents to go once they get the notice and come on and find out about the setup. But to go back to the original statement, there's no cost to form an organization, because it's not, you're not incorporating it, it's basically just an association that will operate at the benefit of the residents. But I would just stay tuned for that. Again, the letters will be going out. He was out, he's back now, and I suspect in the next week or 2.
All right,
Okay, thank you.
another thing I'd like to address, what happened to all the programs, because apparently maintenance needs assistance, that's without question. But there used to be a program where they had maintenance do training the younger kids to, teaching them maintenance skills to, help them for jobs and things like that. I mean, if those were being implemented, then that would probably kill two birds with one stone, and you get it for free, that's what it sounds like to me. So I don't know what happened to all those programs.
I'm sorry. So, yeah, the program that he's referring to was a grant that was through the Juvenile Justice Department. Under the previous administration, all of those programs were terminated. Our hope is that under the new administration that just started, there will be more of those types of programs. It wasn't free. Essentially, we had a training program where we brought in youngsters and trained them, and then as part of their actual training projects, we used the grant money to pay for them during the training, and then they did projects on some of the vacant units and some of the other items as their work tasks. It was hugely successful, but apparently the previous administration didn't fund those, so those kind of went away for about 7 or 8 years. But my hope is that that we'll have some more training programs like that under the new administration that just took place. It was a state grant.
Yeah, right, I remember that.
Another issue I would like to address is, a lot of people was talking about the security issues with all the people that don't live here, how they're they're migrating here and they don't live here. What is the purpose of our housing IDs if the police are not allowed to check them and find out who's going where? That's like, if you bump into, what I'm saying is basically if, with the housing authority, what you guys should be, I guess, in, communication with the police, if I got 10 people at my house and they're all over the complex and the police stop and say, where do you belong, or who do you belong to, you know what I mean? They should be able to say, well, I'm at Lawrence's house. Who is Lawrence? Lawrence is Lawrence from 33 Jennings Court. Because that's the whole purpose of our housing IDs, because a lot of these people don't live here and not at people's houses generally, but they're hanging on this person's porch or they're hanging on this person's porch. And I signed my lease and they got that zero drug law, but if I'm not home and somebody's smoking weed on my porch, I'm not trying to lose my house. So I don't know if you guys can communicate with the police, or there needs to be some lines of communication, especially with that being such a high risk.
I think that we are, so.
Yeah, Chair, we actually, I'm sorry, Chair, we are, anytime that police do, we are in communication with police.
Okay.
But if there's a occurrence, like I know you had a situation over there, which like what I understand actually now is broken up now because there was some people hanging out. But any areas that we need to focus on, we always like to hear. I know Gretchen has no problem in telling us that the areas, but obviously we'd like to hear it. We also don't necessarily need to hear from, put your name on it.
Right.
But I think, I'd be happy to take any call like that, but we just need specifics and times, because as you know, in the one area that we spoke about, we were very successful in disbanding the daily meetings going on. Unfortunately, it's a constant battle, but it's time sensitive. So
And it's getting warm again.
it's important that we know as quickly as possible so that we can try to get the police force that's assigned for those tasks involved. Some of you may have seen some more activity increasing, which we're very pleased with, and there have been some recent arrests on items, which I think we're very pleased with, but we want to make sure we stay in front of that, and we need the residents' help and cooperation in doing that. Particularly if people are on your porch that shouldn't be on your porch.
Right.
We shouldn't have to come and knock on your door, the police come and knock on your door for you to say, oh, well, no, those are.
And they wanna talk shit when they sitting on your porch.
Thank you, I think we're at the 5 minutes, so, thank you very much.
Any other questions? I talked to Mr. Clark.
Yeah, just
please
sit
talk
tomorrow morning,
directly.
because I'm not gonna make it
Talk
today.
directly to Eric. Any other public comments?
Well, I spoke already, but speaking back on what he said, I live in Right Place. Ms. Gretchen, she handles the bill. When they leave from out of there, when they get ran from out of there, they're right there. And you know where my building is. They literally right there, cars, double parked, everything. and we gotta deal with that.
Thank you. Next speaker? Please state your name and where you live.
Good evening, Commissioners. Charles Cradaville, New Brunswick. I'm the editor of New Brunswick Today. I want to start by extending some sincere condolences to everybody for their loss. And I want to thank
What's
you.
your address? You didn't say your
I don't
address.
believe I have to give it.
I'm asking you for, everybody else has given their address. Could you give your address, please?
I don't believe I have to.
I'm asking for it.
I don't believe I have to. And that's a lesson to everybody. I don't have to.
But do you live here in the Housing Authority?
No, I don't.
Thank you.
I want to thank the authority for letting me come by during the toy giveaway with Santa Claus this year. It's a great event. As somebody who runs the Big Chill pretty often, I think it's a good thing. I was surprised to see, though, in your budget this year that the authority is now paying Rutgers for those toys, paying Rutgers for this event. Can you tell me how many toys do you get for the $5,000?
It's public comment. Any other comments?
So right here, I see sponsorship Rutgers Big Chill Run on page 41 of your budget. How many toys did you get for those $5,000?
Wow, you.
Public comment.
So you're not going to answer the question.
This is the public comment session, not question and answer session.
Okay, so you refuse to answer the question.
I'm not refusing to answer any.
Okay, so there's a number of questions I'm going to keep asking them. So at the last meeting, Mr. Manfredi challenged me to make a donation to a food pantry. I'm happy to make a donation to the food pantry, but first I want to understand, how much does the NBHA contribute to that food pantry?
And these are questions, again, you can ask Mr. Clark in person.
I'm asking you right now.
In person.
Does the NBHA give any money to the food pantry?
I thought we were in person.
Seems like that to me.
That don't mean we're in person. If we're in person, you're saying in person, we're in person. No, don't do that. Don't do that. We're in person. Answer the question.
But she
This
is
is
right.
public comment.
Do any of the board members?
And it is.
Do any of the board members personally make donations to the food pantry?
I will say that I
To the Middlesex County Food Pantry?
no, to the Brunswick.
Which pantry that
I just promised.
Well, I just
My church,
promised.
yes.
Okay, but I'm talking about the food pantry that serves these residents here. I believe it's the county food pantry, correct? I was challenged to make a donation to it, so I just want to understand if anyone who challenged me actually made a donation to it. Mr. Manfredi, make a donation to the food pantry? He's the one who made the challenge.
Yeah, this is going on,
No, but he did challenge us. He did
5
tell
minutes.
us. I was here.
He deserves 5 minutes.
Okay, according to the latest budget, the authority has a $4.1 million deficit that's growing. Can you comment on that? Is that a cause for concern? A $4 million deficit that's growing?
How is it growing if they're not getting nothing fixed?
You're correct, you don't have to answer the questions, it just looks really bad.
It looks very bad.
So I would ask you to please, could you refer the question to somebody who can answer it if you can't?
I suggest this is a public comment session, right? And so if you have questions, just send it in a letter. You have no problem sending things in a letter, so if you have these
Yeah,
questions.
you guys have problems responding.
We can give you.
So that's why I have to come here, this is the only chance I get. And for the record, you had to cancel your meeting last month. And you didn't give me my 5 minutes in November. So I'm here again with questions. $4.1 million deficit that's growing. That's what it says in your budget that you filed with DCA. Can you please ask Mr. Clark? Mr. Chair, can you please refer my question to Mr.
Could you
Clark?
send the question
And
in writing?
let's hear it.
Send the question in writing.
Looks really bad.
Somebody
I'm curious to
needs to
see how
answer
much
it.
the authority spent in legal fees. Can you please ask your attorney to give us an approximate number for how much his firm billed the authority last year?
Just send it in writing, please.
I already have.
Respond to it.
Haven't gotten the answer yet.
Okay, well, in time you get it.
This year? This decade?
Send me a copy, Charlie.
Listen, I took time out of my day to come here, and I'm asking questions, I'm trying to be respectful, and I'm getting 0 from this volunteer board. If you're not up to the job, you can quit.
Thank you.
Okay,
How about the other law firms, the Walentz law firm, how much have they billed?
Oh, you can continue, we're saying, we will answer the questions, but send it in writing. That's all. We're volunteers here. We are giving our time up. We care about this. What we're saying is this is public comment.
Mr. Clark makes over $150,000 a year.
That's what I wanna know. This is public comment and why can't y'all answer?
Wait.
Get down order, let him finish first.
Give him credibility.
Thank you. I'm just saying, Mr. Clark makes $150,000 a year. He must know the answers to some of these questions. He's here tonight. Do your job, refer it to him. Can you please have him answer? And how about the attorney? He's getting paid lots of money. And he's not representing anybody here in this room.
Nope, he representing them.
Yeah, he's covering for you guys, just like after the meeting last time.
There's 5 minutes left.
Your budget includes $18,000. Your budget includes $18,000 for him. Yet over an 18-month period,
You've gotten the 5-minute comments. You don't deserve any more than anybody else. So,
I got 0 from you, so I'm going to keep going here. At the last meeting, Mr. Clark indicated that the phone system crashed. Is it fixed yet?
Charlie, send me that information, please.
Does anybody else have a comment?
All right, he's not. He really wants you to refer the questions to him, but you're making the whole authority look bad by refusing to answer.
Does anybody else have public comment?
Let her come up, Charlie.
All right, my name is Javon Walker. I don't live in this housing, within these housing places. I just like to add, I just like to comment that I just heard that there was a $4.1 million deficit and it's supposed to be growing. I don't think that these people should be subjected to the way that they're living by the housing authority if there's a growing $4.1 million deficit. And from what I've heard from other places is that this $4.1 million has, they've not found where it's gone to. So, like I said, I don't live here, but I feel as though it's wrong for you to subject these people to the conditions that they're living in, and the deficit's only going to get worse, and you haven't even fixed the problems that are existing first. So,
Tore down.
Any comment towards that?
I'm sorry, Chair. So you keep stating a $4.1 million deficit. You're talking about including the depreciation? I'm asking you.
No, I have no idea.
You just said there's a $4.1 million deficit and it's growing, so that's what I'm asking you.
I mean, by the way that these housing projects look, I don't think you can depreciate them any longer.
I think the number that you and the gentleman before you were referring to is from the authority submission, which includes depreciation over a period of time. It's an accounting transaction. You have to put in the actual item that's reported. But if you can, and I believe that's what the gentleman referred to, but we do have subsidies and expenses that go into our overall budget. The budget is funded by the federal government. As you may know, the federal government funding levels have reduced over time, but the demand for repairs has increased. So as the budget payment, the budget amounts where we get our money from goes down, we can only actually do the work with the money that we're given to produce. But I believe the number you keep quoting, and the gentleman before you quoted, is a budget submission number. It's an accounting number. So it's not like your household where you make $1 and you spend $1.50, because I believe it includes some depreciation and also some long-term liabilities for bond transactions that are separate from sort of the daily activity and operation. But I can tell you that the money given to the housing authority from the federal government has continued to reduce over the last 10 to 12 years. I don't know if that answers your question.
No, it's fine. You did your best. I see that you've been promising that the Operations Committee will provide a full report to the board on how the tenants here were repeatedly overcharged with improper parking fines. Now, I'm not going to ask a question, but I'm just bringing that up with y'all. You also promised HUD that you desire to hold quarterly meetings of the Operations and Finance Committee at a minimum. Hopefully you can tell the dates of the two most recent meetings of this committee. Next one is Chairman Caldwell. At the last meeting, you proclaimed that the last person was under investigation by the New Brunswick Police Department. Hopefully you can tell the crowd what prompted you to say such a thing. Is there anything that you'd like to say about that?
Facts.
Facts. All facts, too. Now, what happened at the meeting was even more concerning when you accused the last person of breaking the law by videotaping the conversation in the same room. hopefully you can please ask your attorney whether or not people are allowed to record conversations that they are a part of in the state of New Jersey. But even more concerning than that conversation was about the public's right to videotape when Mr. Wolde interjected himself into a conversation that he had balled up his fist and protruded to verbally almost attempt to assault somebody.
Are you reading things that Mr. Credible gave you?
No, I'm not reading them word for word, I'm just paraphrasing in my head, so I'm kind of thinking.
Give it to you.
But it's true.
So now that you've promised HUD that you desire outcomes that assure a resident commissioner is active, Ms. Edna Otero is technically on this board, so she was appointed nearly a year ago. Hopefully she passed the required classes for those specific board members. Hopefully she's also signed up to take the classes that were required. I think that's about it for me.
Thank you very much.
So you have two guys who don't live here.
Okay.
And asking the most questions too.
Are there any other questions from someone who has not spoken?
I know I haven't spoken, but
I know I haven't spoken here, but I got another
This
question.
gentleman here.
I do not live within the Public Housing Authority. I came
Could you
here,
say your name?
my name is Ravi Shah.
We live.
I'm not going to give that information out, but I would just like to say, public comment form, that I'm deeply disturbed that Mr. Cradaville and the gentleman's here questions were not even answered. The $4.1 million deficit is not peanuts. Also, the
John, just
salary.
explain that.
We just answered the question.
He just answered the
$4.1 million deficit.
That doesn't answer the question. Saying something to depreciate doesn't answer where $4.1 million went to. Another issue is the legal fees by the attorney here. If he doesn't represent anybody in this room, on this side of the room, what is he collecting legal fees for? And we have a right to know what those legal fees are. The questions by Mr. Cradaville were summarily stonewalled by this board here, and I think it reflects very poorly upon your policy making if you can't address these issues that are very concerning.
Tell it.
That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments?
I have another comment.
Go ahead.
I am a resident.
Yes, thank you.
I want to know what happened to, I remember when I first moved out here, they had trips for the elderly and for the disabled. Now, I know y'all moved most of the elderly out to the buildings down bottom, but what happened, y'all just forgot about the rest of us that's here? I'm part of disabled, and I was going on those trips, and now those trips are not here. That's one. Two, when they had that, the sports over there in the middle, right place, where they had the, Miss Sinead, you remember Miss Sinead? She used to be here, and she was helping, she helped me get back in school to get my high school diploma. She was also helping me achieve, go find a job that I can do with my mental illness and be able to handle it. What happened to that? If y'all are in so much debt, why aren't we getting any of the things that we got when I first got here? Like literally, when I first moved here, it was here and it just went to shit. Like we're not getting nothing, and then we're being overcharged for stuff. And that's another thing. Why is this the only housing authority that does not have in-house transfers? Because I was accepted at another housing authority. They said that because of the fact that I live in a housing authority, all I needed was a transfer letter to be transferred out of here to another one. But I was told that, oh, we don't do that.
That's not
But Trenton said, and I contacted Trenton, thanks to the Gretchen advice, I contacted Trenton, and Trenton said, no, you are supposed to have in-house transfers. So if I got accepted at Salem Housing Authority, then I should have been transferred 5 years ago. And then another thing, why is a lot of us that live in housing are also on the Section 8 list, but our numbers is getting pushed back because our numbers should have came. This is supposed to be a stepping stone. So if we're here, and we've been here for 5 years, and then our number for Section 8 comes up, and we're doing good here, why can't we get our Section 8, move somewhere else, and eventually get off of Section 8 and do better? You have people out here driving Benz and I want to drive a Benz. I want to drive from the state. I mean, they driving new cars, like 2017, 18, 16, but they still living here.
Businesses.
They're still living here. I I thought this was low income housing.
So those are great questions, and so what I'm recommending is tomorrow, if you would see Mr. Clark, to get those questions answered. Again,
I'm sorry, real quick, so just to answer one of the questions, so we coordinate with the senior center. You familiar with the senior center? They still do day trips, rides, and other
But
things.
y'all used to give out, like, okay, for all the people that's here that is still
Yeah, Miss B. Harris used to do it.
and disability,
Yeah.
we're not getting no flyers about it, so even though y'all coordinating with them, we don't get no notice, so we miss out on the trips.
Oh, you're saying so you don't know about the senior center?
Nobody knows nothing.
Nobody knows, like, nobody knows, we literally are not getting involved with nothing, like, we are basically
We
shut
don't
off.
know nothing.
And that's not fair to us that live here, we're doing what we're supposed to do,
Oh, you're not
and we're
getting
just,
notices?
we're not getting the notices, we're not getting nothing, but wait, but
The
we'll get,
eviction notice.
but we'll get an eviction
That's
notice.
about it.
We'll get a notice about we owing this and we owe that, but yet at the same time, y'all not giving back neither. This is low income housing, it's supposed to be a stepping stone.
well, thank you for that. Again, you know, Mr. Clark has
Well, let's see her
taken that
tomorrow.
under advisement, so I'll see you
I'll
tomorrow
see
morning.
you tomorrow.
As I said,
You already know. I heard that.
any other issues?
Yeah,
Resident
Gretchen
issues.
Spencer, 2 Jennings Court. We're supposed to be having.
Gretchen, we gave you a chance to speak, okay?
And you gave her a chance to
But can you?
You gave her,
but I'm
excuse
saying-
me, but we're supposed to have resident meetings with the authority. Why we don't have resident meetings with the housing authority, like everybody that is live here is supposed to have a meeting?
Have you asked Mr.
That's
Clark that
what I
before?
wanna know. I wanted to get it on record.
Yeah.
We can talk.
We
We'll
supposed to
talk.
have a resident meeting last year, we didn't have it.
Well, he'll talk
That's
tomorrow.
what I wanna know.
Okay, he'll talk tomorrow. So,
Well,
all
I
You're
right.
not gonna mess with me today, I'm sorry.
Gretchen, I didn't see you tonight.
Gretchen.
I don't see you tonight.
I'll talk to you tonight.
Something else.
I'll talk to you. All right, are there any other, Mr. Cradaville, we've given you a chance to speak already.
Not really.
So,
No, y'all just didn't answer his question.
That you should all have this document, and you're telling HUD that you're having resident meetings. I'll read from this document here.
may I
It
ask,
says,
all right, well, as I read before, you're out of order, so I'll motion to adjourn.
NBHA will be hosting a resident meeting in November to encourage resident formation of a leadership committee and community policing activities. Did that meeting happen, or are you
No,
lying
we
to
didn't
HUD?
have a meeting in November about no resident
In
nothing.
November or not?
Yes.
Why are you lying to HUD?
Mr. Giorgiani.
Yes.
Mr. Walden.
Mr. Walden
I
is
have one more
lying
question before you
about
guys adjourn.
his threat to me, his violent threat to me.
Yeah.
Please see Mr.
This is in your official newspaper, guys. You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Too much going on out here. This